Hello YouTube, this is going to be a how-to on lighting up IKEA display cases. I'm doing this video because I had a hard time trying to find some sort of source for lighting it up, so I found a way to light it up myself, which I'm very happy with, so I figured I'd share it with everyone else. The two methods I predominantly found on YouTube was using puck lights, where you'd put a light in the center of the display case. One problem with it is that the light wouldn't penetrate down very far. The other problem is that it would cast a lot of shadows because you only have one source of light at the top center. The other method, which was a little better, is using pre-made LED strips where everything's terminated and the wires are just hanging out. You just plug it into the wall. But if you really wanted to light up your display case, it would be very expensive to buy a lot of LED strips. So this is a much more cost-effective method. This will use about 13 feet of LEDs, in a cool white color. I find that the cool white really made at least my figures or whatever you're displaying stand out quite a bit. And this will light up your entire case on all levels and really kind of shine the light all over, both in the back and the front. Because also there are lights running up and down, it actually reflects off the back glass and really just kind of makes everything pop. Since all my cases are done though, I'm not going to unwire one of my cases to do it all over again, but I will step through the process so you guys can see how I did it and replicate it, and ask any questions in the comments that you want to ask. I'll also include all the stuff I bought, which is all off Amazon, in the comment section of this video. And so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you need to go over is some of the supplies you're going to need. So first thing, we have a cutting board right here, so we can actually do some of the cutting and wire work without actually cutting into our table. Right here I have a pen knife for stripping some of the silicone that's on top of the LEDs. We have wire cutters right here for cutting all the wires that you're going to need to cut and also strip. I have a spool of wire which you're going to need to couple. You're going to be cutting one of the couplers and then rewiring it back together just on a longer length. Zip ties, scissors, electrical tape. This is heavy-duty Gorilla tape. This is double-sided foam tape. And then of course we have the LEDs right here. There's also a few other items which I can't show here because I've used them all, but I'll swing around right here. And there is the coupler right here, which will actually, you'll plug into the AC adapter. It'll actually feed out of the display case. You'll also have these couplers right here, which will actually connect each piece of LED string as you thread it around your display case. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is prep our LEDs and prep our wires and couplers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the LED strips. You're going to need two 10-inch pieces, two 12-inch pieces, and two 57-inch pieces. Now, looking at the LED strip right here, you can see where these copper points, that's where you're actually going to want to make the cut. So, using your measuring tape, just try to get as close as possible to the 10, 12, and 57. Once you make that cut, the LED strip that I got is waterproof. Now the stuff you get might not be waterproof, at which point you don't have to worry about this, but if it is waterproof, you're actually going to want to take your pen knife and you're going to want to make a cut. Usually you'll see some sort of other object in there, which is, I believe it's a voltage regulator, but that's kind of where you want to make the cut, is just past that. You want to make it very carefully. You don't want to actually cut into the ribbon itself. And then from there you can just break off the silicone once it's kind of clear of the rest of the LED and just tear it off. After that, you'll also want to take your stranded wire and you'll want to cut two 55-inch pieces of this, and then you'll also want to strip off any of the the jacket around it on each side. You'll need two pieces of the 55-inch wire. You'll also need to take your coupler, which, like I said, I don't have them because I'm using them all. But I'll show you what I mean as far as the results go. But you'll have a coupler, and you actually want to cut it down the middle because you're going to use the wire to essentially make the coupler a lot longer, so you can run that at the bottom of your case. So when I talk about cutting the coupler, this is actually one of the couplers right here. But you can see where I made the cut right here, and then I took the two 55-inch strands of wire, basically wrapped them back together again, and then wrapped electrical tape around it, to protect the actual live wires so they're not touching anything or each other, which will cause a short. And you want to do that to both sides, so you can see where I have the wire. Basically, it runs all the way back to the back of the display case, and you end up with it over here on this side. You can see kind of where it's taped right there. So before you do anything, you're going to want to make sure your entire system works. I'm going to tell you the order right now, what you'll want to connect it all up in. The first thing you want to do is you'll want to plug your power transformer into either the wall or a surge protector or whatnot. And then from there, that cable will actually get plugged into the power, the power plug for your LED strip. And then you will plug that into your first string of LEDs, which is the 12-inch LED string. And then you'll plug it into a coupler, and then you'll plug it into a 10-inch LED string, then coupler, 12-inch coupler, 10-inch coupler. Then you're going to plug it into your long 57-inch LED string. This will go all the way, this is the part that goes all the way up and down the display case, but you'll do that, and then you will plug it into your very long coupler that you have basically spliced back together. And then you'll plug in your last 57-inch LED string. And that'll be it. Make sure it all lights up before you take any other further steps. If what happens is, let's say the first piece lights up, but the second piece doesn't, take the whole strip, flip it around, and try it again. The reason being is because in LEDs, the power only flows in one direction. So if you have it in the wrong direction, the power is just going to stop right there at that point. Okay, so once you have the whole system tested out, you'll unplug it from the wall and kind of, ideally lay it out all on the floor, so you can just kind of pull off each piece and add it to your string as you go, add it to your display case. So I'm going to go through step by step. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to plug in your transformer, and then feed the transformer cable into the hole at the top of your display case. From there, I use just a little piece of Gorilla Tape just to hold it in place, and then you attach your power coupler that will actually take it from the LED string. You'll take that, you'll actually wrap it around the post and have it come around the back side of the post, and then put it right here. You're going to plug in your first LED string. Now, because of the way these strings are designed, the clips do not close completely. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the string in. You're going to then wrap the clip in electrical tape, and that'll kind of hold it all together. From there, you'll cut a piece of the double-sided foam tape. The reason why I use the double-sided foam tape is because if you notice, these couplers, actually there's quite a bit of gap. And even though these LEDs are actually sticky back, I didn't want to kind of try to have to press it up into the display case and worry about it falling down. So I use the foam tape, double-sided. It kind of acts as a little spacer in between. So you'll peel off the back of the LED tape, apply a piece of double-sided foam tape, and then you'll actually plug in the next coupler that you need, and then wrap that in electrical tape. Once you've kind of gotten it positioned where you want it, remove the double-sided foam tape, and then go ahead and just apply good pressure to the LED strip to make sure that it sticks, and it sticks well. From there, take the coupler cable And you're going to want to take the end of the coupler that's basically still hanging, and you'll actually want to wrap it around the base of the post. Sorry about all the shaky cam stuff. I'm trying to hold it at the same time I do. But you will wrap it around the post, and it'll end up basically kind of already feeding into the next direction that you need to go. So you'll basically rinse and repeat over and over again until you're all the way around the case. So you'll take your next LED strip, you'll plug it in, make sure it turns on. Once it turns on, you'll tape up this connector right here to make sure that it stays in. Then you'll take your piece of double-sided foam tape, you'll apply it. You'll then get the next coupler, you'll plug that in and wrap that. And then you'll apply it, you'll press up the foam tape against the top of the display case. Same thing, wrap the coupler around the base. You just want to kind of keep the cable out of the way. I didn't do this for one of my cases, so I might redo it. I don't know, it depends on how I feel. But from there, feed it into the next coupler. Same thing, foam tape all the way around, and you should be just pulling off pieces of the string, so the entire system works. You'll just pull off the next piece, keep going, pull off the next piece, and then wrap it around, keep going all the way around foam tape. So when you get here, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to wrap it, but instead of obviously going across because you already have an LED strip, you're going to let it hang down. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your long 57-inch, you're going to want to thread it. I put it behind the post, that actually holds the shelves right here. And then as you can see, I use zip ties to actually secure it, because the stickiness cannot hold the entire weight of the string, but a few zip ties, will not detract from it. And I use the white because it will kind of blend. From there, as long as everything's working, you keep wrapping in electrical tape. You go all the way down to the bottom, and then from here, the 55-inch, you plug in that long coupler you created. You plug it in. You want to wrap it all the way around the back of the display case, and have it come down to the bottom right here. So from here, you then run, the other 57-inch from the top. You want to zip tie it all secure, and then, plug it in down here, and then wrap it in electrical tape. And that will get it all lit up. So now that you've lit up your entire display case, there's a couple other things that you can note. So one thing, I use the Gorilla Tape right here. You can probably find some other method if you want. You can buy little brackets at Home Depot. The other thing you can do is that for these connectors, I actually used some double-sided sticky. It's called Joe's Sticky Stuff. It works really well. You use on posters and things like that. But I use that to connect there, although sometimes it's still not quite enough. So you can use a little piece of the Gorilla Tape. And Gorilla Tape, I kind of used it at one point somewhere in another case. Other things you can do, which is one thing I like to do, is because I hate having to try to remember to do light switches. I actually have mine connected up to a timer right here, so that every day at 7:30 in the morning they all light up, and every night at 11:30 they all turn off. A couple other things you can also do, just to note, they're LEDs, so they actually throw off very, very little heat, so you do not have to worry about whether or not they'll damage any of your either figures or whatever you're displaying. I know some people have, collect teapots and other small ceramic figures, but I mean, as you can see, I can just put my hand. They feel a little warm, but overall, compared to old incandescent bulbs, they throw off very, very little heat. You can just easily touch them. Other than that, this is my method of doing it. If you have questions, throw it in the comments. I'll put all the links to all the stuff I bought off Amazon in the comment section for this video. And let me know what you think. Thanks.